Good morning from Soveja, a village in Vrancea County, Romania. In this subcarpathian area, this is how it looks. Nice, quiet, and with a wonderful breathing air. I'll try to take you for a walk, and I do apologize I don't have my camera, so this video will be handheld phone video. What is interesting is that people still keep somehow the traditional building methods up to some point. It includes this kind of fish scale shingles which are covering roofs and walls, and decorated porch, part of vernacular art. So I'm hoping to be able to show you some. Although people are now using modern materials, especially for the roofs, more resilient, we still find these public wells are private and public at the same time. Because whenever someone built a well, it would be putting it on the disposal of his neighbors as well. There's another nicely decorated porch here. Notice both on top and on the bottom. So people are applying this kind of shingles on a fish scale pattern. They have to be perfectly even and flush. So it takes about 1 hour to make one of these, and look how many there are. And they're used on the roofs as well. Last time I've shown you a well like this was in a museum, but look at this one. We're in the countryside and it's a functional well, and remember, everything that I mentioned, it is applied here. The traditional way of decorating these porches, it is with these patterns, which vary from house to house. It is hard to resist the modern day temptation and to continue to live traditional. But have a look at this house. It's been restored in the most traditional way possible for this area. As it's Saturday, we also have most likely a wedding party here, which means that the groom is starting to make his way to take his bride and to come back. You'll be noticing there's pine trees at the door which says welcome. So now we're going to the monument for the fallen soldiers of World War I, which is here on the right hand side. So I have the mausoleum dedicated to the fallen soldiers on the Battle of Moerăști, which started on the 24th of July 1917. 2,140 soldiers were buried here, out of which about 1,600 were never identified. So on top it's written here are resting soldiers fallen on these lands in the war from 1916 to 1919. Here there's Romanian, German, Austrian, Hungarian and Russian soldiers all together rest their souls. Of the one who were identified, we have the list of the Romanian soldiers, but also of the invading force, which was the German one. Unfortunately, they ended up dying on foreign lanes. On this side, we have now the German, Austrian and Hungarian fallen. So behind those marble plates, there are the crypts, the ones who were identified, because it is considered that in face of death, everybody is equal and they deserve to be remembered as well. Behind these ones are Hungarian soldiers, as you can notice by the name. Now we're reaching the cemetery and the church. We have a depiction of Vasile Lupu, symbol of Moldova, which is the European bison, and symbol of Țara Românească, the golden eagle. This is the sign of truce between Vasile Lupu, the gentleman depicted over there, and Matei Basarab, between the two Romanian medieval states. Of course, an idiot has to have no respect and actually playing turbo folk next to the church. There we go. An Orthodox church from 1645, unfortunately closed at this moment. We're going through the cemetery. So this village is called Soveja in Vrancea County. About 200 German soldiers fighting against Romania during World War I are buried here. They came as enemies, but in eternity they'll be forever friends. God rest their souls. So some of these buildings are deserted, but you can notice the local vernacular style with these wooden decorations and the shingle roofs. Too bad that they're now getting deserted, but still quite nice. Deserted house. You can notice the traditional woodwork shingles for the roof. We're passing by this abandoned hotel here called Hotel Zboina. You can notice it's locked down, inhabited only by ghosts. It would be a great place for an airsoft event. What do you think? Yeah, abandoned ghost hotel. Only the bears will be here. So of course, as I'm always curious, I'll try to show you what's inside. Z black zbojna. There you go. Completely abandoned. Abandoned and hazardous as well. People have removed, aka stolen, the cast iron lids. Poles. They look kind of cool back in the day. Used to be thriving during communist times. You notice the alley is gone. And me, I'm actually intrigued by this. There's one over there and there's one over there. All three of them abandoned. Curiosity is always chewing me from inside. So I actually want to see what's here. Everything is locked down. We're actually looking for the villa that was used by Nicolae Ceausescu on his visits here to hunt. This is the compound used by Nicolae Ceausescu to stay here and enjoy some hunting parties. Now we can see light bulbs, but they look pretty similar like the ones in Bucharest. So the loud turbo folk music is now replaced by people whistling, because there's a lot of bears in this area. So if we wish to take a hike, the risk of meeting Mr. Bear is very high. One reminiscence of the communist times is this type of bench. This design is a standard design. You could find it in every single park in Romania, with the rounded armrests and solid oak wood planks. Another abandoned hotel here, Hotel Soveja. As we'll be going back, we find this big bunch of students cleaning up the garbage, which is super nice action, even in an area like this. As we had a decent walk, now it's time for a beer. The place has decayed a lot, as you can notice, but people are still coming here for various activities, sport activities. So there is hope, although it's far from being what it used to be. After all of this, it's time to lit up the fire for a nice little barbecue. Found a little bit of birch bark in the forest, so I'll be setting it here. Nature's fire started. It is going now. Alright, so we have a case of mich, which is the Romanian caseless sausage, and then we have a bowl with all kind of meats here. This one here is mutton spicy sausages, smoked, non-smoked, pastrami, non-smoked, pastrami, smoked. We also have a nice steak and a beer. Very high temperature cold, and the meat on top, getting all the flavors and all the smokiness.
Nu, sunt ca acordeon de mâncat.
And you have the nice,
Nu se lipească prea mult.
nice little steak.
Acordeon vreau, niște
Da.
acordeon.
Știu ce de apă.
Dacă îi dai tu un telefon.
The steak is almost done.
Asta trebuie să-l verificăm. Ăsta.
Cred că-l băgăm la... Something that cannot be overlooked is the humble piece of bacon, which is getting roasted on the grill. Only Romanians know. Look at that. After a good meal and a little bit of rest, we are going to explore a little bit. Have a look at this. Autumn crocus. These are typically emerging during early spring, but in this orchard they are growing now in September. Cool. When you're looking for something, Murphy's laws apply. So we came to look up for mushrooms, maybe porcini, but the forest looks kind of dry, although they love this kind of acidic soil. However, when life gives you lemons, we collect wild rose hips. There we go. Good enough for me. It's also harvesting some sea berries from that bush over there. I have to be very careful on how I'll be holding them, because they have very, very bad spikes and they're hidden. So as I'm lounging here, watching the nice blue grapes in this rural area, I'm thinking, what if I would try to make my own wine? It's not even 8:30 p.m. It's actually 8:20. And we're in front of the gate. Total silence. The only ones which are making noise are ourselves. You can hear the crickets, dogs barking. And here we are, chasing away what we thought it might be a bear coming to destroy the crops. As the night settled, we got quite a good rest. This was our visit to Soveja, and we're grateful to our godfathers for inviting us in. We had a blast, and although I was ill and I could barely breathe, it put me back on track. So one of the next videos would be on the scooter on one of the most interesting roads in Romania.